Hi everyone, welcome to a new webinar about IoT. Today we're going to talk about 8 trends of IoT in 2018. First, my name is Professor Ahmed Banafa, and I'm a faculty at San Jose State University, College of Engineering, San Jose, California, USA. And today we're going to talk about the concept of IoT future in 2018. I have done a lot of research about IoT from two aspects: IoT as itself as a system, and the other aspect of that one is IoT interactions with two important elements or trends, which is artificial intelligence and blockchain. We're going to cover some of this today in this webinar, and I'm going to go through some of the details about that. IoT as a concept, going from a concept to a reality, is really something we are dealing with today. It's a fascinating concept when we talk about IoT, and it's even more interesting and fascinating when you see the applications. 2018, in my belief, is actually one of the going to be one of the best years for IoT because of the advancement we have seen in artificial intelligence, and because of the introduction of blockchain as a possibility for IoT. So let's dive into this and see how is that going to help us. Consumer and businesses both anticipating the next big revolution or innovation in IoT by looking at what's going to be next. Some of the examples that I usually give to in my speeches is we're going to get to the point where there will be an IP address for every single part of your body. The doctor will hack into your body, and you don't have to go through the process of you see them. They will check an IP address of your lung, an IP address of your heart. And then they can tell you if there's something wrong about it, and then if something necessarily, then you will see the doctor. The doctor will prescribe something to you in the pharmacy, and then a drone will bring it to your home. And the pills that you are taking are smart pills, where when you take them and dissolve in your stomach, they will send a message to the doctor confirming that you took the medication or any kind of a format of that medication. This is just an example. The other one is on the personal level. We're gonna have smart forks, for example. The forks that when you eat, they will tell you what are the calories, are they good for you or not. Stop eating this, or eat it slowly, or show you the proper way of eating. And just by the fact that the fork will be talking back to you or will be moving in a certain way. ATMs everywhere. They could be point of security, not just for the cash, for the people too, if something going on, because they have a big span of the camera. They can see the surrounding, and it can report any activities. This is just an example of this. The growth are tremendous in 2018, and there are actually 8 trends that I see will dominate the growth in IoT. And those 8 trends are covering a big territory. And just to summarize everything here, you're going to see that I'm going to go over them very quickly to make sure that everybody with me on the same page here. 8 trends of IoT in 2018, from more connectivity and more devices that's giving. We add smart devices every single day. There is no question about that. The problem with that one is what kind of devices we are adding, and what kind of devices we are dealing with, and all of this one will help a lot in understanding the significance of the IoT. The second one is we're still going to have a problem with standards until now. Standardization will be a big issue. That's not going to go away. We'll talk about it in more details. Blockchain will be one of the main factors in IoT. Investment in IoT will go up because this is the natural step for for people to go through when they are really doing their when they're looking at the next revolution or the next step. artificial intelligence and IoT will merge, two will work together. We'll see more about fog computing or edge computing here. And one of the possibility is to have the IoT as a service, where companies will give you an IoT system as a service. You rent it, use it for a certain time, and you're done with it. And there will be also the need for skills. We're still gonna see a shortage of skilled staff in IoT, and that's something I will talk about it in more details. So let's look at this one, this step by step, and try to understand it. Lack of standardization will continue. The reason for this one is really is a tough area. Who we will follow in the market? We see that so many of the companies, what they do is they create what I consider as a hub for the future IoT devices. For example, Alexa for Amazon, Google Assistant or Google Home. Talking about Siri, you're talking about all or Cortana for Microsoft. All of the different digital assistants, smart assistants here, there are the hubs for the future devices that you can connect to when you are buying their own product. So when you're coming to the standardization and you're asking a company like Google, okay, let's follow Siri standards or protocol, that's not going to happen. The standardization is an issue, and it's going to stay an issue until the companies see some benefits in working together, or it's going to be like an option. I know that about Ford, they have an option to switch between Siri and Alexa, and once you switch one of them, you can use all the devices associated with that. And this is the whole key about the IoT future hub, where this is going to go. One of the biggest things we're gonna see that if there is a move by a well-respected organization like IEEE, this is what they have done with the TCP/IP protocols, and to unify it and say, okay, everybody follow that. The benefits for us as a consumer is the ease of use, plug and play. I don't have to worry about a smart camera. I get it. It has to be from a certain format. If it's connected to Siri, if it's connected to Alexa, if it's connected to Cortana, if it's connected to Watson, if it's connected to whatever device we're talking about, because it's going to start communicating with it because of the unifying protocols. But for the companies, it means money, because the minute you have your ecosystem, it's control, and you have to have the product of the same company. Standardization became an issue for them. So this is something that we're going to see. This is something we're going to see. We're going to deal with, and it's going to keep coming and keep going and keep going and keep going. Now, what is technically, from a point of view of for a technical person, stopping IoT standardization? There are three categories that is preventing the standardization of IoT. The first one is platform. Second one is connectivity. The third one is applications. The platform is the user interface, user experience, analytical tools used, whatever platform we are using for this kind of IoT. Dealing with the massive data streaming from all product and securing the way, and also the scalability issues. So you need that platform. So which platform we're gonna follow? Which platform we will have as the standard for everything connected to IoT, from sensors to the infrastructure, to the gateways, to the cloud, all of this. This is the first obstacle we're talking about. Second one is connectivity. This phase includes all part of the consumer day and night routine. Wearables, smart cards and smart houses, and the big picture is smart cities. From the business perspective is the industrial, the IoT, and which standard we're going to follow for the industrial Internet of Things. When we talk about machine-to-machine communications, that will dominate that kind of field. The third one is the applications. Until we get a killer application, that's what they call it, the killer app, that will do all the major steps controlling, collecting, and analyzing. Those are the three functions, and we can use it in every single device. We got a problem with standardization. So again, until we cover the three parts, the platform, everybody agrees on the platform. Connectivity, everybody agrees on the connectivity. The third one, the app. What kind of apps that can be used with all the smart devices, all the connected devices, so it can talk to each other and be part of one ecosystem. They're interrelated, and all of them need each other to communicate. And missing one will break the model and will stall the process. So you cannot just go with one of them and say, this is the, I have the killer app and I don't have the others, and vice versa. You can apply this one to the rest. Now, a lot of work would be needed to be done with that. And a quick answer for this one is it is not going to happen soon. So it's going to continue this kind of lack standardization. We might end up with three major players, like three automakers, Ford, GM, and Chrysler, that you pick one of the tracks and one of the brands, one of the makes, and you deal with the spare part, you deal with everything associated with that. We might end up with something like this, so dividing the market among the big player here. But it's still it's gonna be an issue. If I'm with Apple, I have to stay with Apple. If I'm with Google, I have to stay with Google. If I'm Amazon, I'm gonna stay with Amazon. The second one is more connectivity, which is a fact. Every single day we have a new devices, and that device is considered a smart device. Why? Because you can connect it with a Wi-Fi, dryer, washers, doors, everything, mirror, smart mirrors, everything here, every gadget we talk about it to consider smart. Once you connect it to the internet and there is some kind of analysis, or the three functions we talk about it, you collect, you analyze, and you act here. By 2018 it will be at least double. Now the numbers we have here as the market here is about 46 billion by 2021. More devices of IoT will enter the market and the channel, because it's now clear to everybody that the next step is to be part of that name, Internet of Things. And our dependency is huge now. A lot of people, they have so many things in one place. Look at your smartphone, how many things you can control with your smartphone, how many things you can run with your smartphone, and everything is connected to that small device. You have it in your pocket. And it's the de facto for so many people. A lot of people, technically they cannot live without their smartphone. First thing they check in the morning, last thing they check before they go to sleep. And that's part of that's the part that makes the companies and manufacturers happy, because they know exactly where to hit it right. Connect it to the smartphone or the smart device you're dealing with, and you're gonna find that it's really you connect to the consumer. The benefit to using smart devices in that case include boosting the consumer engagement. That's a big thing because it's in your hand, it's an access point. Visibility will be there, streaming of the communication will be there. And there is the new thing, which is I want to touch on that one for a few seconds here. The new interface, which is the voice user interface, the VUI. 80% of our communication is done through speech, voice, not through touching or anything else. If you watch any of the movies, the sci-fi movies or anything, you're gonna see that everything done by talking, not by touching or by waving, or it's all by talking. And they talk to the machine and the machine will do it. And 80% of our communication in real life is by talking. And that's why we're missing a big chunk of communication, and that's why you see companies like Amazon is big in this field. They even invented this term, the VUI. Trend number 3 is the new hope for security is the IoT and the blockchain. The blockchain itself is as a distributed ledger, as a decentralization of trust, as getting so many people involved in the process of verification. Having so many elements of blockchain make it as a very good candidate for the process here. and we have seen an increase in the cyber security, field, and cyber criminals are targeting the different devices here. So having the blockchain as part of it, it is really it's really a good solution because of the nature of the blockchain, and how the blockchain will make the security more more reality for us. Whether you're talking about sensor, whether you're talking about intermediate devices, or you're talking about the cloud. Blockchain is a new hope, and that's how I characterize that one. We have seen how the blockchain raised to the level of fame, and because it's the underlying technology for Bitcoin, and has nothing to do with Bitcoin when I'm talking about Bitcoin. The cryptocurrency is a completely different topic. I have my opinion about that one, about the Bitcoin cryptocurrency, but I'm talking about the technology that delivered the Bitcoin and secured the Bitcoin. Blockchain will enhance trustful engagement. There's a lot of things that are associated with the blockchain. It's public, it is secure, and it's decentralized. When you're talking about public here, you're talking about not everybody can see, anybody in the node of trust. You have 10,000 nodes that will verify the application or the transaction. Everybody in that node can see it. So if somebody is trying to mess with this one, tamper with the transaction, others will notice it, will cancel it. Secure because so many people have to approve it, and decentralized, it's not one person who will sign on that one or approve it or open the door, and then they will get that transaction in. I mean, just going through the secure here. In 2018, the interest in blockchain increased, and I'm sharing with everybody here that there's no one day I can it will pass by without receiving some request or receiving some kind of a proposal about the application of blockchain, whether it's in supply chain, whether it's in the government, whether it is in this and this and that, because there is this perception, which is not a myth, it's a reality, that blockchain can solve a problem here. So the interest is there, and it is one of the hottest trends in 2018. We are lacking so many skills, few people understand it. A lot of universities are actually looking forward to create courses in this. I just finished creating a class about blockchain application in the university, and based on some of the the work I have done in that field. University of Southern California, they're using some of my research as based of the blockchain class. Purdue University actually did the same thing. So there is a lot of interest in blockchain as a reality now, and when you take it and you apply it to IoT now, you look that's where the money is. And that takes us to the fourth trend, which is IoT investment will continue, and it's going to be like 1.4 trillion in 2021. I mean, looking at the number 1.4 trillion. This is is really consistent with companies' behavior that continue investing in IoT, hardware, software, and services, and connectivity. Those are the elements of that one. Almost every industry will be affected by IoT. It's a system of all systems. You have multiple offices in multiple places. You want to connect them in a way which is secure. You want to know what's going on. You're going to have sensors of it. You're talking about predictive maintenance. You minimize three things when you talk about business: time, money, and staff. And the IoT as a connectivity, as a service, as a software, as a hardware will give you this kind of opportunity. And this is how it's attractive for investment. The largest spending category until 2021 will be in hardware. We are building the infrastructure to connect the different system here, and sensors and modules. But there will be actually, after that one, we're going to talk about the growing sector of services, which means you need engineers, you need skills, you need staff to do that. Software spending will be similar, dominated by the applications that will run this one. So you're going to see it in three dimensions going on here. Now, the IoT's undeniable impact has and will continue to lure a lot of startups. There's there is a big conference, IoT World, in Santa Clara in May, and there is another one which is the Expo IT in I think in September or in October. And it's, if you go there and you look and you go through the floor, you're gonna see of all the conferences we have here, you're gonna see 99% of the companies, they're talking about how they can take their product and make it part of IoT. Number 5 is fog computing or edge compute, and this is interesting because Cisco is the one who coined this term. The fog is always close to the ground, so very quick information about it. It's very simple. When you talk about fog computing, you're talking about delivering some of the processing power close to the ground. Close to the ground means close to the action, close to the sensor, so the cloud will not do everything. You keep the cloud actions or the cloud engine or analytical tool for big task. If something can be done at the level of the peripherals or the sensors, you can do it. Fog computing allows computing, decision making, and action to be happening via the IoT devices. Only push the relevant information to the cloud, and that's why we call it the cloud. Now the cloud has nodes, which is the devices that will process this kind of information that can be deployed anywhere. You can have 10,000 sensors for many of the gas, pipelines, or many of the sensors for sales, points or points of sales, and then you have a certain processing you can do by connecting them to one device, and that device will process it. If something which is more than the capacity of the device, or it's more than the threshold or the task program device, you push it up to the cloud. But at that level, you process this one locally before you can send it to the cloud. So any device with computing, storage, and network connectivity can be a node. Example of this one: industrial controllers, switches, routers, embedded servers. All of them is just an example of the cloud nodes. It's very attractive for the IoT solution. Some of these benefits: minimize latency because you don't have to wait until it goes all the way to the cloud and come back to you. Conserve the network bandwidth for the serious important signals and transactions. And reliable with quick decision. So we're talking about saving time, money, and staff at this case. And you are really using the time, using the power, using the bandwidth in a very wise way. Collect and secure wide range of data. Move data to the best place to process according to a certain algorithm. Blockchain can be implemented at the level of the node, so make sure that any data there is not just a false data sent into you, to make sure that only the correct data can be processed. Number 6 is the second or the second wing or the other wing of IoT, which is artificial intelligence, AI. The analytics, the IoT data analytics with AI for application ranging from elevator maintenance, smart houses. We'll see a lot of progress because there is a turning point in artificial intelligence. And I have friends who work at NVIDIA. They're telling me that because the artificial intelligence, basically you're running a huge number of huge number of matrices, and you're running all the numbers for images, and you're processing in a big huge data in a certain way. If you took linear algebra, that there is computers are actually built on certain formulas or a certain aspect of linear algebra, so they can process that. And for that one, they use the graphical user processing unit, and he was talking about how the need for their devices is skyrocketing because of the case of artificial intelligence, smart smart devices everywhere. Another advantage of the AI is the supporting the optimization and adaptation of both IoT devices and related processes and infrastructure. AI can help IoT data analysis in the following ways. Actually, if you count them, there are 6. Number 1, in data preparation, preparing the data and make sure that you are getting the right data. make sure the data is there, is the data that you're looking for, filtering this data. 80% of the time of the data scientist is spent on cleaning data, filtering data. If you have tons of points, you know how many of them are actually relevant to whatever you're looking for. Data discovery, you discover the patterns inside this data. And then the fun part of the AI, which is the visualization of the streaming data, very important for the user, for the business user here. And time series accuracy of data, you know that all the information you have, all the information you have about data itself has to be correct, whether it is the basic element of data, then the mean, the description of the center, the description of the variation, the outliers, the time, and the distribution are all correct. Predictive and advanced analytics. This is another thing that AI is famous for, which is I'm going to be proactive. I'm going to predict, not just wait for that. And real-time location, so we can have the decision based on the geographic location here. So 6 areas AI can help IoT data analytics here, and this is what we have as a diagram for that. And let me go through this one more time. Data preparation, data discovery, visualization, time series, predictive, and advanced analytics, real-time, geospatial, and location. The next part of the data itself and how the data is really good, how the business model for the IoT is really clear and good for us is excuse me, the option of having IoT as a service. And this is something explored by so many of the businesses there. And this is what we are talking about when we talk about the different part here of IoT. And this is going to disrupt the existing industries, because you're talking about the services here, particularly for areas of heavy industry and transport and logistics here. Example of the solution can, for that is, when we're talking about selling point, is that the cost can be more direct linked to ongoing measure of using a specific or trigger events. Another example could be, could be shifted from upfront, capital expense to major regular, operation expenses outflow. Example of such model: lighting as a service, rail as a service, elevator as a service could be something that we will consider. The last one is the need for skills in IoT, big data analytics, and AI increase. And this is very important, to keep in mind when we talk about the skills here. We're talking about a very important element here. Number one is that you have to understand we are really in need of skilled people in all the 3 areas I mentioned: the IoT, the AI, and the blockchain. Universities cannot, until now, give us enough graduates who are skilled with this kind of background here. Companies are taking this in their hands, so what they do, they train their own, engineers to up to that level. So we're talking about big data and AI skills and rise, while most of the IoT providers have highlighted the shortage of such the internal learning programs is on the rise for the companies. And just to summarize everything we talk about it here, we 2018 as a year for IoT is the year we're going to see some of the trends that getting together, and and getting all the information about about what is hot in this area of IoT, blockchain, artificial intelligence, fog computing. All of these things are very important to understand that this will define the 2018 and after. And the highlight of this one is the highlight of this is the new direction we'll see in IoT, from IoT as a service, from new programs in universities and colleges that people are looking for, so they can be trained to fill the gaps for this, to the main obstacles for the widespread of IoT, which is the lack of standardization. All of these things will shape 2018 and beyond, and will give us an opportunities from one side. I'm very optimistic about IoT. I see that this is the real starting point, the real starting point. And there is another part of the issue here is what's going to be next. I mean, if we get to the high level of artificial intelligence that will give us algorithm to help with IoT data analysis. Now, what's the next after that with the blockchain? The security that we can apply. So if we have a secure and a smart IoT system, and that's going to be a selling point, then we can replicate this one to multiple levels, horizontally and vertically, and that will save time and money and staff for many companies. Thank you, all of you, for listening. This is my contact. I have my LinkedIn. You're more than welcome to join me, and this is my email at the school, and this is my Twitter handle. I'll be happy to answer any questions. You can email me, you can talk to me, you can connect with me, and I will be happy to answer all the questions. Have a wonderful day, and we'll see you soon.